This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for July 16, 2023, dog bite reportedly sparks a murder. At least 4 people, including a 3-year-old infant, were shot in St. James between Friday night and Saturday morning. 2 of the victims succumbed to their wounds. One of the incidents, which occurred in Mount Carey, is believed to have been triggered by a dog bite. Reports are that about 9 a.m., a dog owned by 40-year-old Omar Nichols, a cleaner of Top Hill in the community, bit a resident and a dispute developed between them. A man who became aware of the incident and who is believed to be related to the injured person reportedly went in search of Nichols. Upon seeing him, the man allegedly brandished a handgun and opened fire, hitting Nichols several times. Nichols fell to the ground, and his attacker reportedly hit him in the head with a stone before fleeing the scene. When the police were summoned, they discovered Nichols lying in blood with multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. About 11:45 a.m., 56-year-old farmer Delroy Morris, otherwise called the Man, of an old road address in Flamstead, was shot by 2 men armed with handguns who invaded his home. In the third incident, which unfolded on Friday night about 8 p.m. in Chatham, a lone gunman reportedly kicked open the door of a home and opened fire at a 38-year-old laborer, his girlfriend, and their 3-year-old son. The terrified couple reportedly ran from the house, leaving the infant, who was in bed. The child was later discovered with gunshot wounds to the head and right arm, and the father had been shot in the chest and hand. They have been taken to a medical facility. The latest police crime figures, which show incidents up to July 8, reveal 105 murders in St. James for 2023. This is 10 fewer victims, or a decline of 8.7%, than over the corresponding period in 2022. 53 shootings were also recorded in the parish up to July 8 this year, down from the corresponding 62 incidents in 2022. The statistics show that 700 murders were recorded island-wide up to July 8, with St. James the only parish with more than 100 homicides. Westmoreland followed next with 65, while St. Andrew South had 64. Chino charged with murder after laborer is chopped to death. A 32-year-old man from St. Catherine was charged with murder following the chopping death of another man on Burke Road, Old Harbor in the parish on Saturday, July 1. Charged is Jemroy Smith, otherwise called Chino, a mason of North Street, Old Harbor. Dead is 44-year-old Kevin Davis, otherwise called Tubby, a laborer of Boodles Crescent, Old Harbor, St. Catherine. Reports from the Old Harbor police are that about 2:20 p.m., Smith, along with other persons, allegedly set upon Davis, where they beat and chopped him with a machete. The police were alerted, and on their arrival, Davis was taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. On Tuesday, July 11, Smith handed himself in to the police in the company of his attorney, where he was interviewed and subsequently charged. Davis's court date has not been finalized. His accomplices are currently being sought by the police. Double murder in St. Anne. The police are searching for the suspects behind a double murder in St. Anne. The bodies of 24-year-old Shamrick Edwards, otherwise called Pappy, of Stony Hill, St. Anne, and the 34-year-old Garfield Orlando Thomas, otherwise called Brawlin, a mason of Seacrest, Discovery Bay, were found in a house at Seacrest in Prairie on Saturday. It's reported that Edwards was at his home on Friday when he received a call from Thomas to meet him at an unspecified location. The bodies of the two were found about 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon with multiple gunshot wounds at a house occupied by Thomas. Investigators suspect that the killing was in reprisal for the fatal shooting of a man in the parish last week. Security guard charged with a conspiracy to murder. A 28-year-old man from Kingston was charged with accessory before the fact, accessory after the fact, and a conspiracy to murder following a shooting incident which occurred on Friday, June 30. Charged is Rasheen Anderson, otherwise called the Blacks or Short Boss, a security officer of Wheeler Drive, Cockburn, Penn. Dead is Craig Johnson, otherwise called the Big Head, a laborer of Orange Street in the parish. Reports from the Central Police are that about 9:45 a.m., Johnson was standing in his yard when a Toyota motor car drove up with Anderson and the other men, who alighted from the vehicle and allegedly opened fire, hitting Johnson. Police personnel who were on duty in the area heard the explosions and went to investigate, and Anderson and his accomplices fired shots at the lawmen. The policemen returned the gunfire at their attackers, hitting 2 of the 4 men. The motor car then collided into a wall. Anderson and one of the men escaped on foot in the area, however he was later arrested. He was charged after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. Anderson's court date has not been finalized, and his accomplices are currently being sought by the police. Police urge public to stop circulating graphic video of alleged suicide. The police are urging members of the public to desist from circulating a video depicting an injured man who is being purported to be a policeman who allegedly committed suicide in St. James. The Corporate Communications Unit of the Jamaica Constabulary Force says that the injured man in the graphic video is not the alleged police constable. The video is misleading, traumatic, and is causing extreme distress to the family and the friends of the policeman, the CCU said in a release to the media. The police are reminding individuals to act responsibly and be mindful when creating videos of this nature. Members of the public are being reminded that while there are the rights of freedom of expression and the freedom of speech, these rights must be exercised with due care as it relates to the dissemination of graphic contents on social media and the platforms, the CCU said. Alarming, 70 motorcyclists killed in 70 fatal crashes this year, says RSU. Some 70 motorcyclists have been killed in 70 fatal motorcycle crashes since the start of the year, according to the latest statistics released on Friday by the Road Safety Unit. Among the 70 are 4 who were killed during the 7-day period, which ended on Friday, July 14. A total of 6 people were killed during the course of the last week. The others were the 23-year-old driver of a private motor car and a 45-year-old female pedestrian. The latest victims have pushed to 216 the number of people who have perished in motor vehicle crashes since the start of the year. The deaths have resulted from 198 fatal crashes. The RSU is also reporting that 32 private motor car drivers were killed in 32 fatal crashes up to Friday, July 14. 49 pedestrians were killed in 49 fatal pedestrian crashes, and 15 pedal cyclists were killed in 15 fatal pedal cyclist crashes up to July 14. Meanwhile, the RSU said that since January 1, there have been 14 multiple fatal collisions on the nation's roads, which have resulted in 31 deaths. On the bright side, fatal crashes have decreased by 15% since the start of the year, while fatalities are down 18% when compared with a similar period in 2022. Up to July 14, males and females accounted for 91% and 9% respectively of the road fatalities recorded in Jamaica this year. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.